Oh, hey, sorry. I was just making these arms even bigger. You know, I'm such a huge guy and everything. Hey, Dr. Rob here. Hope you're doing fantastic. See what I was doing there? A little bicep work, but guess what I wasn't doing? Any core work. When you're working on your core, it's basically from your shoulders down to your knees. You got that solid core when you're working out, you got everything. You're gonna have other parts of your body that are pretty strong. If you don't have a strong core, you're gonna be in trouble. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about core values, not only just core values in general, your personal core values. Why? Because the greatest researchers in the world in this area discovered that the best leaders have 5 exemplary behaviors. The very first one they mention is what they call model the way. Here's how I phrase it when I teach it at universities. Are you ready for this? Leaders don't tell you where to go, they show you where to go. They are saying, come with me, let's do this, we're in this together. They are modeling in themselves what they want to see in their leaders. For example, if you think of the best leader that you ever met personally, it's probably not someone who was rude or mistreated people, somebody like that. Why? Because you don't respect those types. But if you see somebody, and even though they're a person of status, they pay attention to somebody else, they look them in the eye, they care for those who are a stature way below them perhaps on the social scale, but they care about the person, man, we think, I want to be that kind of person as well. That's the type of thing good leaders do. So in your personal core values, what can you do? What can I do? The thing you have to do is clarify what is really most important to you, because where we get ourselves into trouble is where we have something at our deepest core value, but we're not living it out in our life. And that's when we start asking the question, why do I always do that? Or I didn't mean to do that. Or it almost feels like that's not who we are, but we keep doing that. Why? Because those core values within us, we're violating those. And as a matter of fact, if our actions keep doing something long enough that violate our core values, that's who we settle on becoming. I'm not going to let you settle, LeaderTribers. You've got to nail this. You've got to get your core values. So what are those? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to think deep. This is one of those things where you've got to take some time. You've got to write it down and say, at the very core of who I am, in my heart of hearts, way down deep, what are those things that are really, truly most important to me? What is the most important thing? What are those things that I care about so deeply? And then just write those down. And then ask yourself, is there somewhere in my life where I'm not really living that out? And then you're going to find that what they call dissonance. You're going to find that challenge. You're going to find that area where there's a difference between what you say and what you do. That's where those core values have to lie. When you can get in touch with your core values and you work through those, and it's hard work, but then you bring that out for others to see, that's a sacred place. That's something that's very vulnerable, but when you do that, others come alive. Why? Because they're like, that's what I want. That's who I am. That's who I am at my deepest. I want to follow that type of person. So here's what we've done. This week, I found actually an Inc. magazine of all places, a little opportunity, 5 questions, 5 different ways of looking at clarifying your own personal values. So I've included that as the free download this week. What I want you to do is say, what are my core values? Because when you can discover who you really are, then you don't just say, go that way. You don't just direct someone to the way, you actually show them the way. Again, those leading researchers, Kouzes and Posner, you know what they say in this area? I just love this. They say, ultimately, what you have to do is put your ear to your heart and just listen. Lead out of that soul who you are, because who you really are at your very core, and when that's lived out in the expression of who you are before others, it's very powerful. What inspires you? What's at your core? Clarify that this week, and your next week will be better. Hey, this is Dr. Rob. Look forward to seeing you again next week.